Hello everyone, welcome back to Homeworld Remastered. This is going to be covering Mission 4. So this is the mission right after your entire home world got destroyed by this other force that came in and killed you because basically you had the hyperdrive technology. So our mission now is to get revenge on the fleet who did this. However, we can't do it with just the measly things that we have with us. We have to first build up a force strong enough to take them out. So this mission is largely just to gather resources to build that fleet.
Hyperspace jump successful.
Scanner data indicates asteroid density is highest in this region. Commence resource gathering.
At this point, you can also build something called resource controllers. They are something that your resource collectors can dock to in order to make it where they don't have to go back and forth between the mothership all the time. The game tells you to just park a resource collector near a bunch of resources and let it do that. However, I find it's a better idea to let the resource controller, the big hub ship, guard the resource collectors, so that way it's always as close to them as possible, and they can always just dump it off fairly quickly. Now, after you have collected a couple of resources, you get this cutscene.
Long-range sensors indicate a mothership-class mass signature. It's coming in fast. Power readings are off the scale. Full combat alert. Stand by for contact.
Ambassador away.
Trajectory locked in. Hailing signal open on all channels. Entering magnetic field now. Almost there. Fleet, we've lost guidance and are being drawn in. A lot of lights. There seems to be some kind of activity inside. I can see.
We are the Ventusi, and welcome you on to these fairy cultures, beyond bound. The Elders trade routes were established the first time by our ancestors. The resources you collect are of value to the Ventusi exchange. They will serve as an acceptable medium for trade. It has been our custom to equip trading partners with an exchange unit. It is therefore been provided to your ambassador as a gesture of goodwill.
Fleet, this is Ambassador. We are clear of the Ventusi vessel. All systems green. Harbor Control has released guidance and the exchange unit is secure. Receiving crews. Prep the quarantine chamber.
Roger that. Quarantine standing by.
Ventusi trading link established.
Local resources exhausted.
Tyrannic raiders, servants of the Taidan, are arriving. They must not learn of our contact. We must depart. All that moves is easily heard in the void. We will listen for you. Farewell.
Group 3 copies.
And as I said, this cutscene only plays after you
Destination locked
have
in.
collected a bunch of resources. So fortunately, you will have enough money
Direct group
to buy this upgrade. And you do want to buy this upgrade. It's very good.
Reporting.
The Bentusi will show up a couple of more times throughout the game, and they'll always have something new for you to buy. So it's worthwhile to kind of save a little bit of resources after every mission. About 1,000 or 1,500 or so. Is the most that you'll ever need, I think. Yeah, so here at this point we actually learn that
Assembly
the
underway.
raiders, the pirates who killed everyone on the Carcelim and tried to kill us when we did our hyperdrives jump initially,
Resource operation
were actually
reporting enemy
working
contact.
for the
Attack
Titan
with the
who
call.
destroyed our homeworld. So, as it turns out, they are also responsible for the Carcelim being destroyed. It wasn't just a random act, as you may have thought initially, and as I kind of made it sound out on purposefully to begin with. It wasn't a random act; it was on purpose. These raiders are out here to make sure that our people never got far enough to make hyperdrive, I guess. So the basic gameplay element here is just defeat the enemy fleet. That's all. They'll come, and if you're out there collecting with your resource collectors, they will focus on resource collectors. So you just need to make sure you have a little bit of a fleet out there and destroy them
Perimeter set.
Group
as
10
they attack
reports
your
enemy
resource
contact.
collectors. Now,
Roger.
in this gameplay footage, I brought my salvage corvettes out to try to capture their corvettes, because that is possible. It's something you can do. However, you really don't want to do that, because after you've been fighting them for a while,
Several Tyrannic
they'll
Raider
actually
capital
warp
ships
in a
just
bunch of
emerged
ion
from
frigates
hyperspace near the mothership.
near your mothership that will focus only the mothership. They will almost exclusively attack the mothership and nothing else. So, since salvage corvettes have the easiest time capturing ion frigates, because ion frigates are slow to turn, they don't have much of a firing radius, they basically just shoot right in front of it. Salvage corvettes can easily get up onto a big, massive fleet of ion frigates and capture a bunch of them, and basically be under no danger, really, in most situations.
Group 4
Also,
designated.
these ion frigates are really weird and specialized ion frigates. These don't look like any of the ion frigates that you could build or that the enemy can build.
10
So
under
it's
attack.
really bizarre that for just this mission, they have these really weird, like, satellite-looking ion frigates. And I actually like to make a mini game whenever I play this game of capturing a bunch of these and trying to make sure that at least one of them survives to the very end of the game. I don't know why, but I've always done that ever since I've been playing the game. Also, a good gameplay tip, since we've got this far in our research tech at this point, it's a good idea to build a couple of support frigates. They will heal your other ships, and for corvettes and fighters, the corvettes and fighters will actually dock with it to heal. So it's a good idea whenever you send out bigger ships, frigates, and capital ships, that you have a couple of support frigates following them, set to heal them, because it's a good way to make sure that your fleet lasts as long as it can. And honestly, enemy ships will a lot of times target the support frigates specifically first, and if they're doing that, they're not attacking their ships that are actually doing damage. And support frigates are fairly cheap, so if you lose a couple of them, it's not such a big deal. So eventually you're going to end up finding the enemy carrier. It's the same carrier, I believe, as the one that you fought in the Carcelim
The Raider carrier has been located.
mission, the second mission.
Reinforcing their squadrons of fighters
Now,
and
before I said
corvettes.
that you didn't have enough to destroy it, you should just avoid it and it'll eventually get away. However, now you have more tech, you have hopefully followed the cues that the game gave you for the last several missions, and you have captured a bunch of the ion frigates that attacked you with your salvage corvettes. If you've done all these things, then you should have more than enough to destroy this carrier. And you really have to have a couple ion frigates built before you do this, because if you do not, when the carrier gets to a low health value, it will start to hyperdrive out. And if you don't do enough damage before it hyperdrives out and it gets away, you've lost the mission. So you really have to have either captured a bunch of ion frigates or either built a bunch of them. I couldn't think of the word for some reason.
The Tyrannic Raiders have been defeated. We can now return to our immediate goal, preparation for an attack on the Taidan fleet that devastated Karak. Using data from the Taidan vessel captured at Karak, we have been able to determine their location. If we strike now, we can take advantage of their damaged condition. Hyperspace coordinates have been transferred to Fleet Command.
I need to make an addendum, a change to something I said. Sorry, something I said earlier. This carrier you cannot capture with salvage corvettes because it's marked as a mothership ship. However, normal carriers you can capture with salvage corvettes, from what I've read. So, I never knew that in this game. That's something I've learned playing this, but we're going to be seeing enemy carriers soon, and you can capture them with salvage corvettes if you send enough of them at them. However, I've never been a big fan of carriers myself. Maybe I've been missing out. So I've never captured, obviously, enemy carriers. I've never built a carrier in single player. So that's just a little bit of a change I had to make sure to mention. Anyway, that's the mission done. After you destroy the carrier, that's it. Also, another thing, just to reiterate for people, you don't have to gather all the resources before you leave the map. Once you hyperdrive out, the game will give you all of the resources on the map. This is something I didn't know at the point in time I played this. In old Homeworld, as I said before, you had to collect all the resources before you left if you wanted to not leave them behind. So I basically wasted 10 minutes here collecting all of the extra resources on the map before I ended up hyperdriving out. The only thing you have to do after a mission is done is, if you want to, spend your resources that you have to build up a fleet. There's no need to sit around anymore. But that's it. That's all I've got for this mission. I will see you all at the next one.